Hey everyone, thank you for clicking on my channel. If you're new, if you're not new, thank you for coming back. I love my loyal subscribers. If you are new, down on the right hand side there you'll see a little box that has my picture on it and my name. If you would just use your mouse to click on that little box, you'll be subscribed to my channel and you will never miss a video that I upload from Yolanda's Journaling. So thank you in advance for doing that. So today, y'all, let's do my TBR for September. My TBR for September. Sometimes I get in a little reading slump, and I really do hate getting into a reading slump because I just love the look and the sight and the smell of books. So when I do get in a little reading slump, there are some short books that I buy so that I can just read those. They're like 200 pages or less. That way I can keep reading other than just not reading at all. And y'all, I don't know if you guys do the same thing that I do, but you know, I look at my YouTubers, Alexa Ray, I look at you guys and I see the books that you recommend. I see the books that you guys like. I see the books that you guys enjoy reading over and over and over again. So I will go pick up those same books. So what I want to start doing is I want to pick up the books that you guys are reading, but I also want to just go to the bookstore and just look at the covers of books and read a little description of those books and pick out a book or two or three or four that I actually like of my own without seeing you guys recommendations, so I can recommend some books to you that I really like. I'm not a fast reader, y'all. That is the downfall of me with my TBRs, is that I'm not a fast reader. So all I have is, how many is this, y'all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I am going to put on my TBR for September. 6 with the book that I'm gonna read on Kindle. Okay, I really enjoy reading. I did not know that so many people and myself have in common until I started back reading books. Like at my job, we just sit and we talk about the books that we read. We get excited about the books that we read. We recommend books to each other to be read. Sometimes we even swap books to be read. So the reading life is beautiful, y'all. I don't know if everyone that is watching my channel actually, so sometimes I get into a reading slump, and it's like when I read a book, it's like I'm not reading the book because I'm not comprehending and taking in what the book is about. And I hate that because I so love books. But y'all, let's get into this video. Let me tell you what is on my TBR for September. The first one is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This book was loaned to me by a coworker to read. She said that it was a very good book. She said she read it through pretty much the first day that she started reading it, and she recommended for me to read it. I told her that I was going to buy the book. The next day she said, well, I forgot I had this book in my bag, and she let me borrow this book. So I got to start reading this book so I can return this book to her. But let me just read the back of the book, a little bit of the back of the book for you guys. It says, every day I clean at the Winchester's beautiful home, top to bottom. I pick up their daughter from school. I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. So I'm guessing that she actually stays in the house with them. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up. How she tells strangers lies about our daughter, her own daughter, I'm sorry, and how her husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it hurts. It's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I tried on one of Nina's prestigious white dresses once. just to see what it is like. But she soon finds out, and by the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. That sounds so interesting. It's like she's her housemaid, but she sees that Nina has like life all messed up, and she sees that her husband is not happy, and it sounds like she would like to be in Nina's spot and Nina be in her spot. So I'm very interested in reading this book. This is my first book that I'm gonna read on my September TBR. If y'all have any comments about that book, any slight spoiler alerts, just write down in the comments, tell me about this book and how y'all feel about this book. Let's have a little conversation. The next one is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's a friend of mine also at work. She is reading The Guest List, I think it is. And she said she has already read this one. She said this is a really good book. Is it a thriller, y'all? Look like it might be a thriller. If I'm wrong, y'all correct me down in the comments. But anyway, it doesn't have that much on the back of this book about this book. So if y'all know anything about this book, just put it down in the comments and let me know how y'all feel about this book and if this is a good book. But on the back of it, it does say, meet the residents of number 12, a beautiful old apartment building in the city of lights. And it's like the nice guy, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge, everyone's neighbors, everyone suspects, and everyone knows something's not, they're not telling. See you in Paris. So that's pretty much all that this says. And I am very interested in reading this book. I know The Guest List was a Reese's Book Club pick, and this is the exact same author that wrote that Reese's Book Club pick. So I'm thinking that this book is also good. So I will be reading The Paris Apartment. Do y'all remember this book on Netflix? Love and Gelato. This is a series. This is the first book of the series of Love and Gelatos. It is pretty much, and I could just tell you pretty much like, sorry about that, y'all. I could tell you pretty much like what it is about just by watching the movie. It's about, not even by looking at the back of the book. It's about this young lady, her mom died, and her mom wanted her to go to Paris, Italy. Italy. And pretty much kind of like meet her dad. Her dad was a piece of crap that actually slept with a young girl while she was in college and then did not want anything to do with her after that. So she goes to Italy. She meets all of her mom's friends. She actually does meet her dad, which, like I said, is a piece of crap. But then she is actually adopted by a guy that her mom was really close with that should have been her dad. And she start liking a guy that's rich down there in Italy, and then also a guy that is not rich, but the rich guy does not get the girl. The ordinary guy gets the girl. So basically it's just like a love story of a daughter who misses her mom, and a daughter who thinks she likes a certain guy, but actually at the end realizes that she's just like that plain Jane guy that makes her so much happier than that rich guy who feels like he can have any and everything he wants regardless of what. So that's the movie to this book. So I'm pretty sure that the book is pretty much the same, but just has more in it. That's why I love to read books, because it's like they have more in it than the actual movie. But it's Love and Gelato by Jenna Welch. So I'm excited about reading this book. As you can see, I actually tried to start reading on it. So I will be finishing up that book. Y'all, I read the Off Campus series, book 1, which is The Deal. So my one of my TBRs for September will be the second book to the off-campus series, which is The Mistake. What were their names in the deal? Garrett and Hannah. Yeah. That book reminded me, y'all, of Icebreaker. Have y'all read the Icebreaker? That book, The Deal, the off-campus series, really reminded me of Icebreaker, and I loved it. I loved it. I'm not going to talk about it on here right now, but we will talk about some of the books that I've actually read. But my TBR, The Mistake, the off-campus series by Ellie Kennedy. I'm excited to start reading this one. This one is about one of the friends of the guy that Hannah played hockey with, Logan, which he actually secretly wanted Garrett's girlfriend. It's just so crazy. Like, this is just gonna be like a love triangle. But this is what it says, y'all. It says he's a player in many ways than one. College junior John Logan can get any girl he wants from for this hockey star. Life is a parade of parties and hookups, but behind his killer grins and easygoing charm, he has growing despair about the dead end road he'll be forced to walk after graduation. A sexy encounter with a freshman, Grace, is just the distraction he needs, but when a thoughtless mistake pushes her away, Logan plans to spend his final years proving to her that he's worth a second chance. Now, he's going to need to up his game. After a less than salter freshman year, Grace is back at Blair University, older, wiser, and so over the arrogant hockey player she nearly handed her V card to. She's not a charity case. She's not a quiet butterfly. She was when they first hooked up. If Logan expected her to roll over and beg like all the other pup bunnies, he can think again. He wants her back. He'll have to work for it. This time around, she'll be the one in the driver's seat, and she plans to drive him wild. I want to start reading this shit right now. But this is another one that's on my TBR. It's a part of the off-campus series. Like I said, the first one was The Deal. The second one is The Mistake. And it looks like the third one is The Score, The Goal, and The Legacy. So I did buy the first two books of that series just to see if I like the series. So I love book one, so I'm guarantee you that I will love book two as well. So what I need to do is go to Books A Million, and I need to buy the rest of the series so that we can all read it together. The Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. I'm in the second book of that series, Terms and Conditions. I've read the fine print. I love that book. I was very excited to be able to get into the second book of that series, which is Terms and Conditions. And it looks like it's just another family member in that that family of the guy who died, who owned the Dreamland Billionaire series. But this brother is supposed to be the CEO of the company, but he has some stipulations before he can actually be the CEO of that company. He has to live in a house that was owned by his grandfather before he sells it, or if he sells it, and he has to get married, and he has to have children. He has to have an heir to send on his the business to. So it comes down to that the person, when he goes to the house that he was thinking that he was going to be living in and eventually selling, if I'm correct, was, or another person felt like they owned that house, which is a high school or a childhood sweetheart of his. So I really don't know all about how the story goes because, of course, I haven't read the book. But it just, to me, it sounds like it's going to be a childhood romance. So Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher is one of the TBR reads for September for Yolanda's journaling. And the last one for my TBR list will be on my Kindle. And let me get to it, y'all. Okay, so the last one that I will read for the month of September on my TBR will be Really Good Actually by Monica Harris. Hillies. I don't know anything about this book, y'all. I don't even think I can read the back of this book because it's actually on my Kindle. I have not heard anything about this book from anyone that I follow on YouTube or Instagram. And I think that is just so interesting because now I will be able to read a book that I have not seen or heard anyone say that they have read, and I can recommend the book to you. So it's called Really Good Actually. Look like it's gonna be a good read. I've seen the the actual physical book in Books A Million, but I did not buy it because I don't know how the book is going to be. I was at that particular time, I was like kind of scared to buy books that I did not hear about on YouTube or through Romcom, Book Talk, or anything like that. So I did not get that book while I was at the bookstore. But when I became a Kindle Unlimited customer, I saw it there, and I was like, I've been looking at this book for a while. It's free to read on Kindle with my membership, so I decided to download it and read it off of my little mini Kindle. So this is all the books that I will be reading for my TBR for September. This is 6 books. Like I said, I'm not a fast reader, so we'll just see how far I get in reading all 6 of these books so that we can have a review and a rating for how I feel about these books that I picked out for my September TBR. It was kind of easy to pick out these books for my September TBR because, like, I have a book cart. I have a book cart in my room. I have my bookshelf here, and I just love books. So it's like, I know what I like. I know what I want to read. I know what I want to read next. So it wasn't that hard for me to pick out the books that I was going to read for September. But just to make it a little bit more funner, I think the next time we talk about the books that I'm going to read as far as my TBR for October, we will use a TBR jar and I'll probably let my daughter pick out like the books, or I'll just let my kid pick out the books that I will read for October. We'll do a little vlog on that. But thank you guys for joining me for my September TBR list. If you're new to this channel, again, if you don't mind, there's a little button down there on the right with my picture on it. If you will just click that button, you will be a member of Yolanda's Journaling. Again, if you're not new, thank you for joining me. And I love talking to my subscribers. I love talking to my viewers. Thank you so much.